Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to day 4 of our 5 days of 15-minute webinars for 2020 Fusion and 2020 Cloud. Today is Thursday, and so we are taking a little look into the future, in fact the very near future, of the 2020 Fusion application. Later this year, we are intending to release Fusion version 6, and one of the hallmarks of version 6 is our reconfigured rendering engine. My name is Jim Smalley, and I'm the product manager for 2020 Fusion. What we're hoping that you'll see with version 6 is a version of the product that will show a reconfigured render engine, which will allow you to wow your clients with fast and stunning presentations. We've worked really hard on improving the render engine for this deliverable, and we believe that it will allow you to create very compelling renders in very little time. For example, going from the wireframe such as this to a rendered image in a matter of seconds. 2020 Fusion, the new render engine, is fully compatible with the products available on the 2020 Cloud. In fact, it's been designed very much specifically with that in mind, and also with other 2020 software products in our portfolio. It's from this point onwards going to be a 64-bit only solution. The product is now fully developed with this type of operating system being solely in mind. This is a real benefit not only to us but also to our customer base, because we benefit from only producing one variant of the product. So I'm going to switch to the Fusion application where I already have a design open. It's important to understand some of the goals that we had for Fusion. We surveyed a number of customers who made some fairly basic statements. From a point of view of rendering, we want clear and accurate representations of the products in a design, including colors, materials, and textures, and the ability to create inspiring renders. They want all of the above, but they do not necessarily want to wait for excessively long periods of time for a render to complete. They also want to be able to quickly and easily modify and update designs. On top of that, they want ease of use with no complex controls or terminology. And finally, they want consistency between the renders themselves. Historically in Fusion, we have had challenges in that respect. In terms of lighting, very much fell into two camps. We want a well-lit design with very little or no effect. Some would prefer to have Fusion do it for you, so to speak, and others would want to be able to accurately represent individual lights. The end result from a Fusion point of view is that we have tried to focus on simplicity and obviously improving the render engine itself. So in terms of Fusion itself now, we have 6 renders, and those familiar with the version 5 interface will notice that we no longer have a gallery control. We have 6 elementary renders with very little need for configuration. And we start off with a wireframe, which would commonly be used obviously in plan and elevation views. We also have a white fill, very entirely consistent with version 5 and earlier. We have a white fill here. We have a color fill, and we have a draft render as well. These, in terms of their sort of the way in which these operate, these are all governed by our graphics cards in our computers. So the expectation for customers in these renders is that they should be very quick, almost instantaneous renders. When we move to perspective view, we have those 4 same renders. So we have the wireframe, the white fill, we have a color fill, and we have the draft renders. But we also have what we define as our presentation renders. And we have one presentation render which still should give you a good, accurate representation of a design in very, very little time indeed. So here I am rendering a design, and it's taking full advantage of the functionality that we have behind the cloud products and the material mapping that we have associated with those. Now what I'd like to show you is, first of all, you may notice that there are certain things that are occurring here. The progress bar here, for example, is shown in the design area. Previously it was down in this area. And what I'd like to show you is that it's very easy to interrupt. You saw how quick this render is. We also want to point out to you, with the images that we're using, the materials that we're applying to, in particular, our cloud-based products, we're getting such great definition in terms of reflections and materials. Also, if you look at the wine glasses on display here, the refraction that we're getting on those as well. One of the criticisms we had of Fusion in the past was that when you set off a render, and here I am going to execute the higher quality render here, you often have to wait. You'd have to wait for it to complete in order before you could do anything else. With this new rendering engine, we are able to interrupt a render at any given point in time if you wish to go to a different render. There's no cancel button to press. And if, for example, you wish to, from your navigate point of view, maybe you don't have the view quite correct, and you wish to reposition, then it will reset the rendering instantly. There's no need for you to intervene by cancelling or reselecting another render. Once the render is complete, then you are free to choose other renders, of course, but even in the meantime, you are able to, whilst waiting for that render to complete, prepare your next move. Again, in Fusion, previously you were not able to even select other options whilst the render is taking place. So these are some of the key achievements, and this technology that we've applied here in terms of the render process builds upon the background processing technology that we put into version 5. If you recall, version 5 for things like printing and movie generation, exporting, we had the ability to run those on a background process. So it is also the case now for rendering, which allows you to achieve other things. Now, the reason why I've chosen this particular render here is that I'm using no theme whatsoever here. Now, at the moment, I have some lights turned on. I'm just going to drop down to the simpler render that we have at our disposal here. And I'm going to turn off all of the lights in this design. For users that do not wish to rely on specific lights themselves, what this gives us via the no theme option now is effectively a default render setting. So in essence, what this means is that you can light a design with absolutely no effort at all. You can operate with the default theme, and you can increase or decrease the lighting intensity on the scene slider in order to achieve the nuances that you require. Of course, for those that wish to invest more time and effort into lighting, then they still have the lighting themes that we previously used in order to achieve more stylish effects. So here we have the midday sun, bringing lighting through the window, as we always have. And of course, if we select all our lights and then turn the lights back on again, then we can achieve those additional effects. So what we're looking at now with version 6 is greater flexibility. You can interrupt renders in an instant with no effort or no need to press a cancel button, no need to wait for a render to complete. Whilst the render takes place, you're able to open and interrogate other designs if needs be, or indeed, as I say, plan your next move ahead. So from that point of view, we are looking at renders now which are very easy to deliver because we have reduced the number of render types that we have available. The options are very, very simple and simplified, and the controls that we have to make adjustments, we reduce them just to show the sunlight slider and the scene slider, and then the sliders that we had available for user-added lights as well. So this is one simple design which I've used for the purposes of this presentation. But just to show you a more complex design, we'll open that up now. And again, in version 6, the process is much quicker, So we have a more complex design, many more graphic items within the design coming from the cloud. And just to show you, I'll pick the render that takes the longest to achieve, but just to show you how quickly we're able to achieve some very, very compelling renders. We'll wait for this to progress. There are many other aspects of the version 6 development, which for a subsequent presentation I'll be very keen to share with you for sure. But for the purpose of this presentation, it was simply a teaser to give you a good indication of what our primary area of focus has been in terms of application development. Other areas that we're working on or have worked on include named views, improving our named views functionality, and also other activities in terms of use of the mouse when zooming, and also areas where you can multi-select products and make changes. And there we have it. No smoke, no mirrors. A very, very delightful design rendered in a sub 2-minute render. We set our sweet spots based upon feedback from our customers that on average they did not wish to wait for even a good quality render any longer than a few minutes. And that is the objective that we've been trying to fulfill. Many of the renders during our lab tests are coming out quicker than that, but by the time we deliver, we will definitely be working to our objective of a quick presentation quality render in very little time at all, and then a more defined, nuanced render with a little bit more shadowing and effect, as I say, sub 2 minutes. And there we have an entry-level presentation render in a matter of seconds. The other nice thing is that there is a degree of caching that goes on when you apply the renders. And assuming you make no changes to a design in between using the renders, the caching will allow you to immediately restore a render previously applied. So there we are. In this case, because I've previously applied the Presentation Plus render, we are able to instantly recall it. Of course, if I move an object or change a door style or delete something, then of course it will have to fulfill the render once again. So I'll just go back to the PowerPoint again. So that gives you an indication of what we're able to fulfill with version 6. So the benefit is that you're getting fast, high-impact images for all of your projects. Here's a little sample of some of the things that we have achieved during our testing so far. For you, that means you can make project changes very quickly and efficiently. More time for your creativity. You're not trying to work around the difficulties of using an application. It's more time for you now. Hopefully that will shorten your sales cycle. You can make modifications very, very quickly. And we expect to deliver version 6 later in the autumn of this year. As I mentioned, it's not just about the new rendering system. There are other features and functions that we have. So I spoke about the background processing, the named view solution. We also have areas of development where we've introduced mouse wheel zoom, snapping indicators, some enhancements in numeric annotation, and other areas. I intend to deliver another webinar probably around November, which will go into those areas in more detail and will last a little bit longer. But for now, I hope you enjoyed the sneak preview, and I look forward to sharing more with you on version 6 in the near future. Thank you very much.